Just 16 days away from Christmas, but we're also 127 days away from another big day. Yes, I know you love this day, Tax Day, and if you think it's too early to start thinking about that, well, you might want to rethink that. Tom Wheelwright, CPA and CEO of Wealthability, joining us to tell us why 2020 might be such a different year for so many folks. Tom, good morning to you. The last thing we want is an unexpected tax bill, right?
Yeah, for sure. And there were a lot of things happening this year with the CARES Act. We had unemployment benefits, which were taxable. We had checks that went out to everybody, which are non-taxable. And we had the PPP loans, which are considered right now taxable. So a lot of new things.
Yeah, so let's break down the CARES Act. How will that affect most people?
Well, so for most people, the checks that they received, it won't affect them at all because that's a tax credit and they're just getting the money early. For people who received unemployment benefits, that's taxable. So they need to make sure that they include that in their projections of how much tax they're going to owe in April. And then people who receive PPP loans, even though that may not be forgiven until next year, it's actually going to increase your taxes this year unless Congress changes the rules.
What about if you lost your job, you got unemployment benefits?
Yeah, those unemployment benefits, those are taxable. So you need to make sure if you didn't have any withholding, especially, you're probably going to owe money in April on those unemployment benefits.
Yeah, so what are some of the things you need to make sure you jot down and ask your tax accountant?
Well, you know, there are a couple of things you need to do before the end of the year. The first is there's lots of charitable tax benefits right now. The CARES Act added charitable tax benefits. There are Arizona state tax credits for charities. And so that's one of the things you ought to be talking about right now. There's other big change was you can take money out of your IRA or your 401k and not pay tax or for 3 years or pay tax only a little bit over the next 3 years. So that's actually a huge opportunity. There's up to $100,000. If you were affected by COVID-19, then you can take $100,000 out and not pay penalties on that and pay taxes over 3 years.
So you wouldn't even have to pay a penalty for your 401 itself?
That's right. There's no penalty. So you don't have to be old like me and to avoid a penalty. You can simply take the money out and there's no penalty and you don't get taxed all this year. You get only a third of it is taxed this year, a third next year, and a third the year after. So that is a huge benefit. If people are struggling right now, and I know a lot of people are, then that $100,000 that's available to them might be something they ought to consider.
That's a big thing. While you mentioned retirement age, those of us getting up there, I'm not suggesting that you are, but when is the best time to start taking from your 401k? Because I had heard you want to wait as late as possible.
Well, you do want to wait as late as possible, okay? And even Social Security, you want to wait later to start taking Social Security because you get more when you wait later. So you always want to push that off as long as you can, but you're allowed to start taking it at 59 and a half without any penalties.
Oh my gosh, I'm there. I am there, Tom.
You and me both, pal.
Listen, thanks for the insight. We appreciate it. There's your books behind you. So we will get through tax season together. I'm sure it's your favorite time of the year, too.
Absolutely. What could be more fun than taxes?
Tom, thank you. We have more.